Welcome to Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia, where we explore inspiring stories of natural healing and transformation. I'm your host, Stacia Alicia, and I'm so excited to have you here today.
We're joined by Roberto. At over 310 pounds, battling diabetes and dependent on a sleep apnea machine just to get through the night, Roberto was given an ultimatum: lose the weight or start diabetic medication. He chose the path of self healing. As if on cue, the algorithm began feeding him content that aligned with his growing desire for health, discipline, and long term change. He came across health influencers who were juicing, and something clicked. He committed to a juice fast and ended up doing it for 182 days straight. The result? He lost 105 pounds, reversed his diabetes, and reclaimed his health and vitality. In this episode, Roberto opens up about the highs and lows of his healing journey, the mindset required to sustain lasting change, and the power of juicing to not only transform the body, but also the mind and spirit. Let's dive in. Hi, Roberto.
Hi, Stacia. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you share your story with us? What was your life like before your healing journey began?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I want to thank you for having me on your platform. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And as far as my journey, well, where do I start? I've been in America now for about 27 years, since 1997. So my diet previous to that has been what I call the had diet, the Haitian American diet. So if you're Caribbean, you know rice is a typical thing, meat, chicken, goat, well, you name it. Plus, you add the American lifestyle to it, all the breakfasts, the typical American breakfast. So that's been my diet. And of course, smoking, drinking, and stuff like that. So as I remember, since high school, when I left high school, I was like 190 pounds. I don't know what your matrix is over there, but it's pounds over here. So 190 pounds, that's pretty fine. I'm about 6'1", so that was pretty cool. And just to give you a little clue, I'll be 44 in June. So uh, so for the last however long, I would say more than 15 years, I've been somewhat overweight. But I never cared about it because, I never looked at myself as being fat. But it was like last time, I think it was like right after COVID. And I took a picture at my school with some children. I work in education. And I looked at the picture for the first time in my life. I felt disgusted. And for the first time, and mind you, now I love myself. I never look at myself in a negative manner, but that specific picture, I looked at it, I was like, you know what, something has to be done. So long story short, my brother is Paul's Law on Instagram and all the social platforms. He's like a health personality on the social networks. So he told me, he was like, you know what, I'm about to do a water fast, a 40-day water fast. I'm like, yeah, whatever. 40 days, bro? That's crazy. He was like, yeah, 40 days. So, it just slips my mind. But the first week, I remember seeing him, and I'm like, yo, you doing that water fast? It's been a week. He was like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, a week on water? That's crazy. And second week, of course, I see him. I still ask him, like, hey, how's that fast going? It's going great. 2 weeks. Oh, third week, it's like, hey, how's that fast going? And he's like, oh, it's going great. And I remember on day 28, I saw him and I'm like, yo, how many days it's been? He was like, I'm on 28 days. And I'm like, I had to ask him, I'm like, yo, you haven't eaten anything in 28 days? Just water, coconut water? He was like, yeah, nothing. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to start. And day 29 for him was day one for me. So I did the water fast. To give you a little briefing on the water fast, it was a struggle because I made it to day 37. And after that, I had to have some electrolyte, meaning some Gatorade, some type of liquid that was not water. But I kept going to the 40 days and I lost about 65 pounds. I felt good about myself. Everybody was, congratulations. Oh my God, you lost so much weight. You did good. How'd you do it? I did a water fast. Oh, that's crazy. I will never do that. The typical water fast story. So Now I feel good. 6 months go by. I go back to my regular habits: the smoking, the drinking, the eating, all the food that got me there in the first place. And I was like, I went back to like 325 pounds. And mind you, I'm like 6'1". So I was like, I got to do something. I have to do something. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I know like my mind was made up to do whatever it takes. I even contemplated stomach bypass as far as surgery. Like I have to do something because I felt disgusted. I'm like, I got to do something. And the algorithm on the phone keep feeding me juice fast. It keeps sending me videos. Jillian Berry, this person did this person did that, and for a minute I start to watch them. But I knew the juice fast probably was going to be a little bit easier than the water fast because the water there's nothing. It's absolutely not even the taste. So I'm like, you know what? I should do a juice fast. So my mind was made up, and I decided on 40 days. That was my mind. And then I told the family. I remember we were in Baltimore in the state in a basketball tournament, and I told them like, "Hey, I remember it was February 24th, 2024, and I told them, hey, this is gonna be the last meal that I'm gonna have with you guys because I'm gonna go on the juice fast." And like they've seen me do some crazy things before as far as water fast. They like, hey, whatever, do your thing. So, and I proceeded on the 25th. I went shopping. I bought everything. I had an old juicer in the States. I had a 20-year-old juicer. I picked it up. It was a Jack LaLanne juicer. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It was the first person in the infomercial that introduced us to juicing in the States. He was a white dude. He died in his 80s or 90s, but he was the first person who did an infomercial for a juicer. So I had one that was like 20 years old. I picked it up, dusted off. My juicing, my juicing started, and that's how I started on my juicing journey.
Wow. You spoke about being over 30, 325 pounds. What other key challenges were you facing physically, health-wise? I know I saw on your Instagram that you had sleep apnea and you were also diabetic. So tell us about those other key challenges that you were having and how they affected you in your day-to-day life.
The key challenges were, of course, I had sleep apnea. For the people on your channel, they might be familiar with the health term. Is when pretty much you stop sleeping at a certain amount of time during your sleep. So technically, your passages, your air passages would block. So a remedy for that in the States, if you can't lose weight, they would put you on a CPAP machine, which is the machine that will pump air into your breathing, like to clear the blockages, so you can technically somewhat revive you. I know I'm not probably explaining it well, but technically, if you, in my case, I would stop like 190 times a night. When they plug you up with the machines, they plug you up in a computer, and they did the study, and they would realize how many times you stop breathing a night, and they would prescribe you a machine based on how many times you stop breathing, and the machine every time you stop, it kicks some air, and then your throat will open up and you start breathing again. And it was the most uncomfortable things that I've never done. And of course, if you're 325 pounds, you're gonna experience some kind of impotence. Okay, you're gonna have some kind of breathing challenge, and of course, your body is not gonna look the optimal look. You're gonna be overweight and in some cases obese. And though they were my challenge, and of course, diabetes. So the two options that I had was to, okay, you can change your lifestyle as far as the food choices and get some exercise involved, or we can put you on medication and a CPAP machine. So the first choice for Dr. Page was to put me on medication and the CPAP machine, and I was uncomfortable with that. So I was willing to do anything, but I've tried everything. I've tried to subtract like cheese, eat a little less, don't eat late at night. Nothing would work. But I remember my mother, she was a nurse back home, back in Haiti. She told me, hey, you might be allergic to meat. And never heard of nothing like that before. And this is a meat eater telling me like, yo, because a lot of meat in the state got steroids in them. So steroids is gonna make you fat. Because mind you now, I can be in the same place with somebody, we eat the same food, and I'm blowing up, and they remain their sizes, and I'm like, damn, it's not a problem of the food that I eat. And she told me, but that stays with me. But of course, meat is good. Finger licking, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop eating it. So I'm like, but I would experience, based on what she told me, every once in a while I would stop. And every time I stop, my weight will go down about 20, 30, 40 pounds. And then once I start again, my face would blow up again, my stomach would poke out. And I realized, you know what, that might be a problem with the meat and the way I eat the starch and stuff like that. So pretty much health challenges were diabetic, sleeping with a CPAP machine, of course, impotence, trouble breathing, trouble working, and of course, the weight issues.
What fears or doubts did you have when you first started, and how did you overcome them?
What fear?
Fears, yeah, if you had any fears.
Well, the fear, of course, being overweight is already a fear. And I remember going to Martinique with my son, and I was carrying him around. He was like 2, 3 at the time, and I had to climb like a steep hill, like some steps, and I was going out of breath. And I was telling myself, "Wow, I got to do something because I'm somewhat young. I'm still in my 30s, and I can't walk around. I can't even walk, mind you. I didn't have an exercise lifestyle, so the fear, it wasn't even of dying. It was to live uncomfortably. It was to live uncomfortably, but I never cared about how I look until that picture that I told you about at the very top of the interview.
So you said you did a water fast for
Mm-hmm.
40 days.
40 days.
And then you later did a juice fast, and I think that was for 182 days.
Well, you did your homework. That's right.
So that's a huge commitment, right?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
How did you prepare for it, both mentally and physically?
The mental preparation, I think, came with the algorithm, is by watching people who has done it before me. Like I mentioned before, my plan was not 40 days. My initial plan was, not 182 days. It was 40 days. But the 40 days, that's something I was planning. I didn't know if I could reach it or not. So the plan was the top 40 days. If I can do 5, 10, 12, 15, whatever, I'll be satisfied. I know I will lose some weight based on the experience that I had as far as the water fast. But I remember a brother at my job, he showed me, I think, like a verse in Matthew that stated that when you fast, you got to keep it private because you're going to remain meek. It's not good to tell people about it. So since my plan was 40 days, for the first 40 days, I did post on Instagram that, fasting day one. I would post like one-dimensional messages, juice fast day one, and then it goes to juice fast day two. So by the time it starts going to day 15, some of my followers, they start to, being inquisitive. They start to ask questions like, "What do you mean juice fast? You don't eat?" And I'm like, "No." And then, people was cheering me on. "Oh man, no food, blah blah blah." And then they like, "Hey, we need to see videos, pictures. We need to see something." But since my initial goal was 40 days, I had a conversation with my brother when he see that I was doing it for real. Like I think on my third or fourth 4 weeks on the first month, and he was like, "Wow, you're doing amazing, bro. Your face changed. Everything is changing about you." And he said to me, I never forget it. He says to me, "If you can do this for 2 months, it'll change your life forever." And then he take a second. He was like, "Matter of fact, if you do it for 3 months, your life is going to change forever. Everything about you is going to change." And then he took another second. He was like, "If you can go 6 months, you're gonna be invincible." So in my head, I'm thinking, man, I'm not even a month deep. He's talking about 2 months, 3 months. But in my head, I'm thinking, wow, I would love for my mind to change forever. Because you got to understand, part of my challenges also wasn't just physical. It was more like I felt like a car that was stuck in the mud, and I was pressing gas and my tires were moving, but I was staying in place. I'm pressing gas, so I want to accelerate. I want to move forward, but the tires are moving, and I'm stuck in the same place. So I felt like, wow, my life is stuck. What can I do to actually move forward? So when he says to me, "You can change your life forever in 6 months," mentally inside of myself, my eyes were in the 6 month mark. I told myself, wow, what about I want to change my life. So if he says, and this is somebody like I grew up with, I'm 5 years older, and I see through the diet, through the exercise, he changed his life. So if he's telling me like, "Yo, you can change your life," and I'm like, I want to change my life. So my mind was on the 6 month mark, but how I was going to do it, I don't know. So in my mind, I told myself, one day at a time, one day at a time. That was my mindset. That was how I framed my mind. That's how I prepared myself. And posting it on the internet starting on day 41, because my goal was 40. So on day 41 now, I made my first video. And some of my followers, we were doing Instagram skits before. So they used to see me at like, 290 pounds, 300 pounds. And when they saw me, they like, whoa, because I was losing 1 pound a day on the first 40 days. So 40 pounds was flushed. At my job, I had to go buy new clothes. My brother took me shopping. He bought me my first set of clothes when I first started losing the weight. So that was an amazing journey. And then that was my motivation from there. And I kept telling myself, wow, I want to change my life. I want to change my life. I want to change my life. And I'm going to take it one day at a time. And of course, you know, you're going to get some adversity as far as people who are going to be somewhat negative. But I had a lot of support as far as people who were also cheering me on, telling me, oh, you got this, keep going, keep doing it. And who was checking on me every day. Even people like you, people that I've met throughout this journey, is people without the juice fast I probably would have never met in my whole life. And because of the juice fast, I've created a whole new family, a whole new following. My content have changed from the raunchy, gross content of comedy to like more of a health conscious, of exercise, of juice and veganism. So my whole content, my whole self has changed. Went back to school, learned a new language. So it's been like a transformative story. And he was right. It's going to change my life forever. And so far, it's only been a year, and I have seen so much greatness in the making. And that's why I appreciate about the fast, and that which is the reason I'm copying and pasting everything that I learned from that to the next aspects of my life.
I love that. I absolutely love that. When you started, were there any detox symptoms? Can you share on that? So that
Absolutely, absolutely. So since you asked, of course, when you start, the first thing that's going to happen to you is your personality shifts. Your personality shifts in which way? Remember, you've been eating food, in my case, for 40 something years. So meaning it's not just food for the nutrition of your body, it's also like a soothing mechanism that keeps you calm, and that you eat to cope with things. So food is kind of like one of those type of things. It's like giving a little kid a lollipop or something sweet or something. That's what food is for most of us. Because a lot of people, we don't really care about what, you know, the nutritional value is in the food, because we don't know in the first place. So I'm coming from that point of view. I'm coming from the point of view, and now you don't have that soothing, that coping mechanism. Anything gets on your nerves. Like you get pissed off at anything. Like the music is too loud, you just upset. The kids are talking. Somebody, like your mind shifts to like a singular focus, to the point where if for me it was like juice. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to the supermarket. I'm gonna wake up in the morning. And I made it fresh every day. And I made it fresh every single day. Unless I was traveling, I would Google where they were, like a juice bar, or sometimes I would do out of the box if I had to, and I would document it online. And whatever I did throughout that juice fast, every single day, just like the exercise, I would post it just to keep my followers in the know. The first thing I realized, like, there was a pus by my thighs and my stomach. It's like a big pus, and there was some yellow things coming out of it. But because I was familiar with the water fast, that happened before. Once I saw that, I know it was some kind of cleansing going on. And of course, your face is gonna break out before the beauty, before the clear skin. You're going to experience some discomfort, and you're going to see it in your stool. Most people think just because you don't eat, you don't use the bathroom, that is far from fetched. Like that, you know, that's as far fetched. You're going to use the bathroom because there is a lot of things in your belly that's probably been there for years, for months, that's never been cleansed before. And then when you're juicing, just because it's liquid, don't think that you're not gonna have a bowel movement. So a lot of crazy things was coming out: the pus, the face, and of course the attitude. And as far as lessons that I've learned, as far as discipline, I looked at it like this: everything is like an alphabet. It's like the number, and it's like building a house. What do I mean by that? If you have to do something that may seem complicated, break it down in section. So in other words, a lot of people might see, okay, he's done 40-day water fast, but they forgot it's 1 day plus 1 day plus 1 day that adds up to 40. He did 180 days of juice fast. It seems unheard of when you think about 182 days. But what you got to think about is 1 day plus 1 day plus 1 day. You think about a language. That's a concept, that's letters that add to vowels, and that gives you words, and then words plus give you build a vocabulary till you get sentenced, till you write an essay, a book, and on. So you got to start from the lowest point to the cellular level to build. So when it comes to discipline, I learned, like, even if you're looking at a big house, remember, it was built brick by brick. So everything I'm doing now, whether I'm learning a new language, I'm learning a new subject, it seems difficult because you're looking at it. Oh my God, I got to learn Spanish. These people are speaking fast. How? And I realize, okay, let's start with the alphabet. Let's start with the alphabet. Let's start with one word a day. In a year, that's going to give you 365 days. And if you're really about that life, you can learn the words by family. You can learn family, familiar, familiarity, like because every word's got 2 or 3 words that are connected to it. So instead of learning one word, you can learn 5 days, five words a day. So instead of doing 365 days, you can do 1,500 days in 6 months. So any language on the planet, if you speak 3,000 words, you kind of speak the language. So your vocabulary is building. Now you understand the skeleton and the process, the vocabulary structure of the word, and then now you can speak the language. So when it comes to discipline, that's what I learned is the most important thing. I can break it down to the finer section, to the cellular level, and I attack it from the smallest perspective, and I go from there. So anything I'm learning right now, if I don't know how to do a podcast, I'm not looking at it like this is an impossibility. I'm looking at it, okay, Google it. That's your best friend. I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna find out how do you plug the mic, how do you do this, how do you work this. So everything I'm learning now, I am no longer afraid and looking at it from the final product. I look at it, okay, a man made it, you doing it, she's doing it, I can do it too. Except I have to apply myself. So when it comes to things now, when it comes to me doing things, I'm no longer coming from a loser's perspective. Like I can't do it. Oh my God, this is good. No, it is going to be hard because it's hard because it's not familiar. So once you get yourself used to it, and you become a pro. Most people are going to think you've been doing it for years, except you only have the patience. You had the patience to attack it from a cellular level. That's what I've learned as far as discipline when it comes to the juice fasting.
That is a lesson indeed. I love that perspective. Trust me. What would you say are the key differences between the water fast and the juice fast? And why did you think that the juice fast works better for you?
Water fast, there is absolutely no taste. There is no, I think, when you eat, there is the smell, there is the colors, there is the taste, what you see, what you taste, and what you feel. When it comes to water, you only get a feeling, but the feeling is a little less than what you actually get from the juice. And maybe there's a mental aspect to it too. Just because you can taste it, you can see it, you might think as a placebo effect that the juice has more nutrient and nutritional value. So when it comes to that, at least a couple parts of your system, of your senses is already fulfilled. You can taste, you can see, and you can smell. But when it comes to water, you take two of those out because it's clear. You barely can see it. It's somewhat tasteless. You barely can taste it. And in your mind, you might think, okay, water has no nutritional value. And when it comes to that, you become on a lonely planet all by yourself because even if everybody's indulging into whatever, and then now you by yourself, and then the water is just like brutal, man, brutal. I don't wish that. I mean, if somebody can do a long-term water fast, God bless you. But for me, Roberto, the juice was a breeze, and I'm able to compare the two. And what I think is just like, okay, I was satisfied with the taste, the fact that I can taste the pineapple, I can taste the orange, I can taste some carrots, I can taste whatever was in there, and me associating the taste, the color, and the feel of it to nutrition makes me feel like no, I'm not gonna fall apart like most people are thinking that if you don't eat, you're gonna drop dead. So that was the difference between the water fast and the juice fast for me.
So you mentioned about the nutrients in the juice, but some persons, they believe that, well, it often brings up concerns for them about nutrient deficiencies or safety when it
Yes.
comes on to juicing. Is that a valid concern, one? And if so, how do you ensure that your body gets what it wants during the fast, the juice fast?
It is absolutely a valid concern. You have to understand the people who have that concern, including myself and you, we coming from a lifestyle of knowing, okay, has this vitamin, this has that vitamin. But I was always told when I was younger in the Bible, they say like people don't live off the bread alone. So a lot of people forgot that part also. So a lot of the nutrition that you get is not necessarily coming from the food. Your attitude towards life, the sun, grounding, breathing, the relationships you have. There are people right now that might be eating the best vitamins, the best minerals, and they're around a toxic lifestyle and still end up with toxic diseases. So food is not just the things that you consume through your mouth. The music you listen to can distort your whole system, even if you're eating the best food in the world. So yes, they do have a valid point. Where do you get your protein from? Where do you get this from? It's a valid point. We always train that way. But I can be an epithet. I can be an example of what to do, of what not to do. And I was willing to put myself and my body on the line to find out what works for me. And I will tell you this, I felt much better on juice than I actually feel on eating food in the water diet. Now, am I suggesting that everybody go on a juice fast and go do this? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Roberto Michel, felt much better when I was drinking juice. My mind was clearer. I was lighter. My physique, I was able to do everything that I'm doing now and more. I was sleeping 5 hours a day on juice. And and for the people who are being skeptical, I did go to the doctor. I did check my glucose. My glucose went down from 194 to 63. I did that on Instagram. And every time I go to the doctor, he allowed me to film it. So I post that. So I understand the worry. I understand the issue. I understand, like, okay, where do you get this? Where do you get that from? I mean, I had the same worry, but I'm not gonna be like a dismissive person to say, oh, what do you know? No, I'm just saying I don't know, but I'm listening to your advice. I care enough to listen. I'm going to consult with a doctor while I'm doing this. And if he say, hey, this is a bad idea, you like this, you like that, I promise you I would stop. So I'm not that focused in being dismissive and be like, hey, you wrong. I know everything because I'm doing this. No, all I know is I feel much better. And I was precautious enough to accompany my journey with a medical professional to accompany me throughout that journey. But I understand if people are being skeptical. I definitely get it.
Many people struggle with regaining weight after the fast, like you did in the water fast. How did you approach like reintroducing food after the fast to maintain your results?
Well, after the fast, I remember when I announced that, oh, I'm thinking about breaking the fast. I think when I got to like day 160, 159, I was like, guys, I think that's it. I'm about to stop it. But from now on, this is one day at a time. But the only thing I was craving was avocado. I was craving avocado, cucumber, tomatoes, that combination.
Oh.
So don't ask me why. I don't know. But that's the only thing I feel like I missed. I was like, man, I can kill some of this right now. But my whole plan was when I jumped from the juice fast, I wanted to do a raw vegan diet, which is the reason. And I'm like, wow, that's going to be a challenge because I've been eating cooked food my whole life. I don't know if I can go 21 days, 60 days, 90 days without cooked food. So I was like, okay, but it's going to be one day at a time. The same day I did the water, I did the juice. So I'm going to apply the same concept one day at a time and do it. So some of my followers, they were like, Roberto, just make sure you take it easy. Start with something small, like a watermelon. I was like, man, I'm not gonna listen to you guys, man. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. It's raw. The juice was raw anyway. It's not gonna do anything. So day 182, 183, I make me the biggest salad. I ate it on Instagram. Boy, that was a mistake. I should have listened to my followers. I should have taken it easy. I should have taken it one step at a time. And the next day, I got on Instagram. I posted a message. I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I thought I knew it all. I thought I was the best. But my stomach was hurting for like 2, 3 days straight after I ate that salad. But I kept going. I keep eating. And for the next 90 days after that, I was able to do like a whole raw food diet, nothing but salads, no cooked food, no bread, no rice, quinoa, nothing. So that's how I was able to do it. But to break the fast at first was a little bit challenging as far as me breaking it too sudden and too quick.
So now that you have that experience with breaking the fast, how do you break your fast now?
I would break it the way they suggested. I would do a mono meal, like a fruit, like a mango, like a watermelon, just to start introducing solid food slowly to the stomach. Because you have to understand your stomach now, by the time you do 21 days, your body's restructuring. So your stomach, your microbiome haven't gotten anything to digest to fight with. And all of a sudden now it's kind of like you don't go to the gym for a while and then you put 5,000 pounds on a dumbbell and you're trying to lift it. The system is the same way. So I felt like, okay, now if I fast, even if I fast for 2, 3 days, which I try to do every month, I reintroduce it to some fruits and to something light before I start bringing the heavy loads.
Okay. In your opinion, what are the biggest misconceptions about fasting and about natural healing or about healing naturally?
Healing naturally should be the only way. I think the misconception comes from the Western world. It doesn't come from me or maybe you because I'm from Haiti. I grew up from the natural world, so that's not an imaginary concept for me. So when I'm sick, the first thing I go look for is not a pill. I go look for the natural remedy because that's how I grew up. But I have to understand that I'm dealing with people who didn't grow up the way I grew up. They have pharmacies, they have pharmaceuticals giants that are promoting drugs to them. So that's why when they speak to me about their point of views, what can be done and what cannot be done, I can't be quick to judge them because they coming from a whole different world. My world, like I wake up and my grandmother make a bucket of tea and give all the children tea. That's how I grew up in the morning. Every summer, when the summer's over, you get cleansed they flush your stomach with some kind of things that's gonna make you use the bathroom. People over here don't do that. So the concept of cleansing is not even it's brand new. It's now people are talking about it as if it's brand new. But me coming from the Caribbean, this is something we used to do twice a year. So the natural way is the way to me. So if I'm arguing with somebody that's coming from the Western world and the European country that they whole life never seen a tree grow, never seen a river, never seen a worm, they've never seen nothing natural. So what is there for me to argue about? So the natural way for me is the way. It's not an alternative medicine. It's medicine. The stuff they practice is alternative. So there's no argument. So natural medicine is my way to go. So when I thought about it, I was facing people who was willing to argue, telling me I'm going to miss this, I'm going to miss that, but not understanding that everything I was doing was natural. I was consuming nectar from fruits. That was natural. That when you eat something, your body digests it. It takes the fiber and poop it out, and then all you really consume is the nectar that becomes the nutrition for your cells. So I was kind of aware of that, but on the same token, I wasn't so quick to dismiss what they were telling me as if they were wrong because I don't know. They don't know my lifestyle. I don't know their lifestyle. But just because they say it to me, I'm not gonna be judgmental to the point where I'm like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I listen. I'm like, hey, man, you might have a point, but let me take heed. And then I do that, and then my story so far has been, I would say, successful. So
So
I'm not too hard headed.
okay, you're not too hard-headed.
No, 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 I'm
Have
not.
you had others reach out to you about after hearing your story? And if so, can you share like a success story from somebody that your story has inspired?
Yes, throughout my journey, when I started doing, I remember when I got to the like 59. A lady from St. Louis, Missouri, named Nina Bolton, and she started following me. And she said, "Wow, I can't believe you're doing like 60 days on just juice. This is inspiring." But she was like, older than me, I would guess. And then she was like, "I'm about to start." And then normally, when people ask me to help them as far as to mentor them, I always decline. I say I can tell you what I've done, but I
Yeah.
can't be like a medical professional to tell you this is what you should do. So, but she stayed with me throughout the whole time. I think she did like 100 days. She did like 100 days, and she lost, I think, 69 pounds. And when she was about to stop, I was still going, obviously, because I did 180 something days. And she said, "Hey, I want to stop." And I'll say, "Hey, have a salad, have some fruits, and then call it a day. You did an amazing job. You never thought you could do that anyway." And for my birthday, she sent me some money. She sent me some money for my birthday, and that was one of the story. But I have a lot of other people that reach out on a daily basis. I have people who do 15 days. My wife did try with me on the first time. She did 15 days and she stopped. But me, a lot of people come and go while I'm doing the journey. They call it fell off, and I always tell them like, you didn't fell. You got to understand, you learn something from failure, and this is failure to who? Like, failure is, that's not a test. This is something you're doing. You're taking care of yourself, and you have a misstep because you had an expectation. You told yourself you was going to do 60 days, and then now you do 30 and you feel like a failure. I'm like, don't give yourself a date. Just do 1, 2, 3. If you do 4,000, fine. If you do one, this is a story between you and you. It's a contract that you sign with yourself. There's nobody else involved. There's no need for embarrassment. There's no need for you to feel like you fell at something. There's no failure. This is you on your health journey. You're doing this for you, not for me, not to impress me, impress Instagram friends. This is you versus you. Focus on you. Do your own thing. If you miss a day, have a salad. Okay, no, Roberto's not gonna pop out from your behind the couch and be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" No, 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 no. I always tell them, everybody who try to follow me, I was like, if you're hungry, eat some fruits, because you know what you're doing it for. It's to rebuild your whole microbiome, to rebuild your whole system. It's not a competition to see how many days of juice fast I can do. But ever since I've done it, I've been on a lot of other channel, other podcasts. I've seen a lot of people who's done it. They reach out, we become friends online. So I can say the same way I was motivated by a lot of people that have done it previously, I can tell that I motivated a lot of people to do the same thing, and they find success into what they're looking for. And me, I'm in the process of just sticking to it, of applying what I've learned from that journey into my life, and hopefully they can find the same thing. That's all that's about.
Love that. So you gave advice to the persons who feel like a failure because they started and stopped. But what advice would you give to someone who has never done this before and they're feeling hopeless and they're having a lot of health challenges right now?
If you're feeling hopeless, you don't have a health issue, you have a will issue.
Ooh.
Okay, you have a will issue. You should never feel hopeless, because we are navigating, we are bathing, we are swimming in abundance. And when I was dealing with my hopelessness, when I felt stuck, when I felt like I was pressing gas and my car wasn't moving, when I felt like my will wasn't exceeding what I think my potential is, that's what the problem was. I had a will problem. The food around me was still the same. The people was the same. Like nothing happens. Like think about it this way. If you're from an impoverished place and then there is lack of food, you have a food problem. But if you're from a place that there is abundance and you can't control what you stuck, the choices you make to put in your body, it's not a food problem, because you have choices. You know, there's many things outside. There's drugs, there's garbage, there's trash, there's couch, there's table. You can stuff anything you want in your body. So the problem is will. What can you decide to do and then stick to it? So the first thing I always tell people who want to do what I do is get your mind right, meaning fix your will, because we have a will problem. If you're depressed, if you feel like you can't do this, you can't accomplish this, well, you have a problem with your will, meaning if you can't make up your mind. So as soon as you make up your mind, I promise you, you're going to have to train your mind to listen to you, because you're the master. God created you with this thing. It's free will. If you don't control it, it's called free will for a reason. It's not free, you do whatever you want. It's free, you do whatever you want. If not, somebody else or some other entity can come and control it too. That's why sometimes people say, I'm possessed, I'm this, I'm that. Well, food can control you too. Other spirit can come and take over your will and control you too. So you, the owner of the car, you better grab that wheel and take it to the direction that you want to go. So you want to do a juice fast, you want to change your life, you want to start a podcast, you want to write a book, you want to build a family, well, you better start with your will, because that's the strongest force in the universe. Once you gain control of that, God gave it to you. God is on your side. This is your birthright. Just keep doing it, keep going. So get your mind right. That's the advice.
Get your mind right.
Get your
What
mind right.
are, what are your top 3 juice ingredients or recipes that you swear by?
Well, the number one juice for me is the simplest thing you've ever heard, is watermelon, seeded watermelon juice.
Okay.
I can't put any accent on that. Seeded watermelon juice. I can drink this for 2, 3 months straight. And something about it, when I do mine, I put a little bit of vanilla extract and some limes and lemons in there. So just that, to keep it mono. And I can drink that. I sleep 5 hours a day. I drink it 2 weeks straight. And one big watermelon in the state costs me $8. It gives me almost 2 gallons of juice, sometimes a gallon and a half, which is enough to consume for a whole day. So $8 a day for me, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I'm juicing. So that's my number one. Number 2 is basic orange juice. And number 3 is what I call the yaki juice, which I think other community call it lemon ginger blast, which is the celery, the apple, the ginger, the turmeric, and the lemon. And some people sometimes put carrots in there. But me, I found out that carrots is not too good for me because I was diabetic. It literally gives me a drunk feeling as if I was drinking alcohol. I can't even drive when I drink it. It makes me sleepy. So I subtracted the carrots. I put more apple, more celery, more lemons, and turmeric and ginger. And those three are my favorite. And honorable mention is cantaloupe juice. And I would add lemons to that. Cantaloupe, lemon, a little bit of vanilla extract, top four any day, all day. I can drink that for the rest of my life and I'll be fine.
For the melon and the lemons. Oh, melon and lemon is, if you notice, it's the same letters in those two words.
Yeah, watermelon and lemon.
And lemon. Do you put the skin through the juice as
No,
well?
no, no. The
Okay.
skin, the watermelon, I just now started doing the skin because I went to like a raw juice activity, like a friend of mine was doing something, and I noticed like he put the skin in there and he told me, yo, you was missing out. And then I tried it. It messed up the taste, the sweet taste a little bit, but as far as energy, it gives you a lot of energy. But when I was doing mine, I did not put the skin in there. And for the lemons, no, I did not put the skin in there. Okay. I always, the orange, lemons, limes, I always peel them.
Okay. All right. So in terms of the juicing, what tools or equipments do you recommend for anyone starting a juice fast?
I would recommend a Nama J2. That's my number one choice. But you have to understand this is a $600 juicer. So I know not everybody get this type of money to invest in the juice. But there are other juicers that are similar that potentially can give you a close job. The first one that I started was the Jacqueline Lane, and it was $600 when I paid for it. It was like $400 when I bought it 20 years ago. So now, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, you might be able to find a used one for $100. And I'm sure you go on Amazon right now, you're gonna find plenty juicers. But I was lucky enough to be gifted one by Jillian Berry, and I have been using it. It's been doing a wonder for me. But I wouldn't stick too much on the juice. I would focus on my mind, and then your mind would ultimately deliver the things that you need to continue that process. As I told you, I did 6 months on an old 20-year-old juicer, and as soon as I was done with the fast, I was asking everybody for my birthday to gift me a juicer, not knowing that one person was actually gonna make my dream come true, and they gifted it to me. And so far, I juice in the morning, and I've been doing a great job with it.
I love that. I love that. For those who aren't ready to start juice fasting though, but they want to start their healing journey, what's one thing they can do or one change that they can make to start?
Juice for breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Juice for breakfast, because you know, I understand I'm not going to be too hard on those people, but I would tell you this though. If I was to tell you, okay, there is $1 million here, when do you want it? What would you say to me?
No.
You want it right now. So how much is your health worth? Is it worth $1 million? Is it worth two? If I take $1 million away from you right now and you get your health, you'll be okay. But if you keep $1 million and I take your health away, you're not okay. So when people are telling me what should they do, when should they start, that lets me know that they haven't gotten their mind right. You haven't made up your mind as far as how important your health is to you. As soon as you make up your mind that my health is the priority, those questions would be like, it won't make sense anymore. You would not ask what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Like none of this matters, bro. Without your health, all the stuff that you think are important, your phone, your relationship, without your health, you cannot enjoy none of them. So why put that last? Why tell me a juicer is expensive? Why tell me you can start next month? I'm gonna start exercising next month. As soon as people tell me those stories, I already know you're not the person for me to congregate with. We can't sit down and have a conversation because he already tells me your mind is not right. Your priority is not straight. The things that are the most important for your life, you don't put it number one. So you think you're gonna care about me? I'm gonna sit in your company thinking that you're gonna care about me when you don't care about yourself. So change that verbatim, change the verbiage, change the language, and put your priority first. I give you $1 million. When do you want it? Right now. But if I give you $1 million, you keep it, and I take your health away. Are you gonna be okay with the million? No, you cannot enjoy that million without your health. So your health goes over all the material things that you're chasing. So get your mind right, put your health first, and then let's chase the money and everything else that we call material. But your health should be first.
Word. All right. So just for clarity, I want you to give me the difference of when you started, the health challenges. So basically, paint a picture of what the before was and now as it stands, what the after is in terms of health.
Size 42 pence, diabetic, obese, sleep apnea, impotence. Impotence, once you start juicing, for the people who don't know what that means, is when your manhood doesn't function. That's impotent. Or when it doesn't function right. So that's impotent. So anybody who is overweight, I don't want to use the word fat, but for lack of a better word, if you are fat, you will be impotent. I do not care what you say. I know a lot of the fat boys gonna come for me. Come for me. Okay. If you overweight, you're gonna have some problem with your manhood. So by the grace of God, that problem has been solved. That's number one. Amen. Okay. And when it comes to diabetic, I started, I think, at 184. Last time I checked, it went down to 63 as far as my glucose test. That went down. CPAP machine, I haven't slept with that since I made up my mind to change my diet. So I've been breathing right. And of course, for the people who follow me on my journey, I now started incorporating exercise into the health prospect. So I started with 325, size 42 pants. I went all the way down to 176 pounds with the size 28 pants. Now, after I start eating, I'm at 225 pounds now, and my size pants is 34. And I've been staying there for the last 2-3 months with the exercise. So everything is start to shape up to balance out because now I'm eating, I drink juice, whatever. So 32, 34, that's what my pen size has been. And that's a whole nother human being when you think about it.
Yeah.
So I feel better, I sleep better, but there's no better feeling than being on juice. Even when I eat right, even when I eat a vegan diet, primarily raw. So it's been a great change. It's been a great journey. And it's been a year. February 25th made it a year since I started this journey. 6 months of it was on juice. Of course, when you're on juice, you're going to get super skinny. My mom didn't like that at all. So they were praying for me to get back to eating. So I've done that now. So everybody did, she sees me live. She's like, yeah, this is much better. Let's keep it that way. You know how Caribbean mothers are.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, they want you to eat. It's just like a love affair. They want you to eat. And I don't mind. And I love what I'm doing right now. I love how I feel. And ultimately, my goal is to eat 100% raw, which is still what I'm striving and fighting to do at the moment. So as far as that part, I'm trying to get my mind right because ultimately, I see myself in the future as a 100% raw vegan. How's that gonna work? I don't know. I'm still experiencing with it. Like I've done a whole 90 days with that. And so far I eat primarily raw. Every once in a while I have like some cooked food or some quinoa or something like that, some steamed vegetables, but primarily raw, still juice, still do smoothies. And for the people who ask, I don't know, where do you get your protein? I don't do, I'm trying to get some raw protein shake. I haven't started with that yet, but we still do some seeds, some black seeds, some stuff like that. I don't take any vitamins for the people who are asking as far as my weight loss journey and also the gym that I work out. I don't know. So far, it's been 100% natural and I'm feeling good. And I learn along the way. Like I say, I'm not a hard-headed person. If you were to come to me and suggest something, that will be good for my health and it works, I'm just going to apply it to my life. But so far, it's been a DIY journey, do it yourself. So I'm just doing it and learn as I go and take everybody advice in between. But I know that my mind is the number one cursor. It's like the mouse to this computer that can make selections in the catalog of life. And I'm selecting the best choices so far.
I love it. Congrats. Congrats. Amazing. All right, so we're going into a different segment. It's the rapid fire round where I ask it quickly, you answer as quickly as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So, one juice ingredient you can't live without. I think you said that already, though.
Watermelon, hands down.
A healing habit that you swear by.
I don't know, prayer, meditation, one of those kind of forms, like positive thinking.
One thing people should stop eating immediately.
Anything white as far as refined food, whether it's bread, whether it's rice, let's say bread.
One thing people should stop drinking immediately.
I don't know, alcohol.
Now that you're doing the raw vegan, one food you can't live without.
Avocados.
All right, roots and
Primarily raw. Primarily raw. I don't want to mislead anybody because I do have some steamed vegetables and some cooked food sometimes. But primarily, for the most part, I do consume raw food. And the goal is to ultimately go 100% raw. My journey has always been transparent, whether it's the weight, whether it's what I experience. So I want to keep that experience so at least I can be a clear mirror for the people who are asking questions to find the right answer, at least through me. And I try to keep it as honest as possible.
all right, roots and remedies. If you could give someone one powerful natural remedy to start detoxing their body, what would it be?
Positive thinking, I don't think is a thing. I don't think it's a thing because the thing God put all the herbs and the remedies for us. But if your mind is not made up, you can step over him outside thinking it's garbage, it's trash. There's a lot of grass outside right now that people don't value. There's a lot of things that back in Haiti, soursop, you from Jamaica, we used to feed that to the pigs, and then now they find out that it's good for cancer. Apricot seeds, we trash this where I'm from. Okay, spirulina, we feed it to animals where we're from, and the people in the 2020s are now finding out that those are the greatest from a protein and vitamin cancer that can cure cancer. So there's a lot. So if you don't have the knowledge, if your mind is not right, you can walk all over God's blessing and not know what it is. So instead of me giving you the roots, I would wish you the knowledge on how to use everything around you, and hopefully that works for you.
Ooh, word.
Yeah, you need the
All
knowledge.
right. So this podcast is called Nature Cures. So I want you to give the Nature Cures challenge for this week. If you could challenge our listeners and viewers to try one new healing practice this week, what would it be?
Count your blessings. Count your blessings. Wake up every single day and think of something that you're grateful for and watch it down. And you're gonna go 6 months and you're not gonna be able to count. So the only reason I say that, I have learned through this journey that gratitude is part of getting your mind right. Your mind is not right because sometimes we are ungrateful. Like I said before, you can be walking on the grass outside. There's plenty medicine. The dog is sick, it knows to go out and eat the grass and get well. You don't know that. You lose sight of all the greatest things that we've been offered. I'm able to speak with you right now through a phone. We've connected 20 years ago. We couldn't do that. I'm grateful. You're in Jamaica right now. I want to go to Jamaica. I'm grateful. Jamaican music and food is my favorite. I learned how to speak English by translating a Buju Banton album.
What?
Shiloh. My daughter's name is Shiloh. So I am affected. I am connected with people that I wasn't able to do before. So I feel like once I start to count my blessings, like Damian Marley got this song called Count Your Blessings. Once you start doing that, God is going to make a way to show you more blessing because your mind is going to keep counting. Because a lot of people are depressed because they focus is, oh, I don't have a Bentley right now. I don't have a Rolls Royce. My house is not $1 gazillion. And my wife, I don't have this, I don't have that. Once you start doing that, your mind is taking you to the void of lack and you attract nothing but poverty in that. So if you want to get your mind right, to get your health right, start thinking about the good things that God already give you. Even somebody who's in jail right now, who's at a hospital right now, they have something to be thankful for. Find that thing and build around it, and I guarantee you, God, the universe, the nothingness, whatever you want to call it, whatever your religious view is going to provide you more. So you want to change your life, whether physically, spiritually, to change your diet, to change your lifestyle, count your blessings. And I guarantee you, that didn't have anything to do with food, right?
I
That's the
love
point.
it though. Count
That's
your
the point.
blessings
Count
because
your blessings.
because what you pre, you see. One of my guests said that what you pre, you will see. So I love
Count
that.
your blessings. And you're gonna see that, hey, you got a phone right now. You can Google whatever information you want. You have family that cares about you. You have a roof over your head. Even people who don't have a roof over your head. You have two eyes right now that are able to let you watch these things. There are people who are blind right now. You got ears that you can listen. Even people who don't have legs. Like there are people who are in different situations. Find that thing that you can be thankful for, and I guarantee you, God is gonna give you more. you're going to find more of the things that you want. But the day that you find yourself in a complaining zone, oh my God, I don't have this, the phone is too dark, the sky is too blue, the water is too purple, this, that, you put yourself in a spiral of negativity, and then now you forgot the greatness of God, when this whole thing, this whole abundance was made for you to win. So enjoy what you got, play with the hands you was dealt. The game is still beautiful, and let's play.
I love it. Supply outweighs demand.
Play, baby, let's play.
You mentioned Buju Banton and Damian Marley, so you kind of preempted my other question.
Those are my favorite artists in the world, by the way.
Okay, what's one song or mantra that kept you going on your healing journey?
Count Your Blessings was my songs. For the people who was following me when I was posting that, Damian Marley and Nas was the song I was posting every morning. So Count Your Blessing and On the Road to Zion, I used to post those songs every morning in the background of the videos of the stuff that I was making. So Count Your Blessings, like the whole Damian Marley thing, there's something about him that connects him with me in the spiritual way. Like I always dig deep into his music, even if he cough on the microphone, I was like, whoa, that was amazing. And it's just, yeah, it's just like certain artists that I connect with. And when they sing something, I connect with that. So Count Your Blessings, On the Road to Zion. And there's another song, Autumn. There's another song called Autumn. It's not a popular song. It doesn't have any drums on there. I think it's just like it has a beautiful black and white video. Damian Marley, Autumn Comes, and he's amazing. He's amazing.
Give me a piece of the Count Your Blessings so I can recognize. I'm trying to get you to sing it out, so give me a piece.
Yeah, the song say I got furniture. I got furniture in my house. I got health insurance. I got people to meet. So I count my blessings. So I count my blessings. So I got new health insurance. Da, 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 da. So I count my blessings. So it keeps naming things that he's thankful for and keeps singing about it. And it's just an amazing song.
I love it. I love it. All right. So if you had to come up or create a starter pack for someone who is beginning either their juice fast journey or their healing journey, what would you put in it? And this is anything now. It can be something physical, tangible, like a book, juice or whatever, or mental. You can be as creative as you want.
Start juicing. If you don't have a juicer, if you don't have anything, start subtracting things from your life, and start with those things that you stuff in your body, meaning starts to fast. And fasting is every religion on the planet has fasting. And they have all levels. There's the dry fast, there's the Daniel fast, there's the Ramadan, which I've been doing for the last 6 years, except for this year I fell off. For the last 6 years, although I'm not Muslim, every Ramadan I fast because it's a good habit to create. It's a good habit to create. So one day, a month, put nothing in your mouth. If that doesn't change your life, I don't know. Because what's going to happen, you're going to realize like a lot of things you put in your body is nothing but distraction. It has nothing to do with nutrition. And then once you start making the difference between nutrition and distractions and things that's there to amuse you, you're going to start being more conscious, because the things now, a lot of us are on autopilot, meaning that we are traveling, the plane is driving itself. We're not really in control. So in other words, like the plane can go left, it can go right. That's why sometimes, you hear people complain because they're not really in charge of their own mood. You understand what I'm saying? They can go into depression very easily. If like me and you or anybody that's conscious, when they say conscious, if you're conscious and you realize, okay, I'm going to California. I'm in New Jersey right now. California is west. If I'm driving west, my goal is to go to California. And I get half of the way or 3/4 of the way or 200 miles down the road, and I realize I'm going the wrong way. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to repent. You're supposed to reroute.
Recalculated.
Yeah, you're supposed to return. You're supposed to find your way. But what if you're on autopilot? How are you going to know if you lost or not? You're not conscious. The plane can take you anywhere. So the problem with us, this body, this consciousness that we're supposed to be the custodian of, a lot of us gave up. We give up. God gave us this thing. He gave us this superb machine to be a custodian, to be in charge of. And a lot of us, we give up on it. We let it do whatever. We let it do whatever. We let it roam around, and then we say, "Oh, I'm depressed." What do you mean you're depressed? You're supposed to be going this way. If you're depressed, that means there's something that you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing. You're not in charge. So go grab the wheel and let's put it back into perspective and go the way that you want to be happy. Happiness is a state of mind. It's a mood. What do you mean you're not happy? What do you need? You got breath. You got breath. You got people who are billionaire who are still not happy. That means like money is not the problem. You got people who work in supermarkets who on a farm right now who are not fulfilled. Like, what do you mean? So happiness is a state. And once you understand that, no matter where you are, you're gonna find something to count as your blessings, and then you're gonna be thankful for it. So the first thing I think you should start refraining from putting something in your body to distract that body so you can take control of the will, because a lot of other things is controlling our minds, and we don't know that because we've never been behind that will before. A lot of us have never been behind the will of our own vessel, so we don't know the feeling. Because every time we're hungry, whether it's sexual desires, there's a desire that's in control, and we never know who the real driver is. So in order to know the real driver, look on the driver's seat, see who's sitting there. And in order to do that, you might have to stay a day hungry. You might have to go hungry one day to look on the driver's seat, be like, wait a minute, I've been going west the whole time. I meant to go south. But if you don't look on the driver's seat to see who's driving, you might realize, hey man, negative music is driving, man. You got the politician who's been driving, man. The Western world has been driving. This food you've been eating, this alcohol, this drug you've been doing, been in the driver's seat. You've never been in control. But if you don't look who's driving, the car, the vessel is gonna go anywhere. And then by the time sometimes by the time we realize that, it's already like a little too late. You're already 40, 50, you're already sick, cancer. And then that's when we realize, oh my God, God gave me this thing. It's like you're a custodian. It's kind of like Adam and Eve. They give you this beautiful garden to watch, and they told you what to do, and then you let a freaking serpent came in and distract you from what your ultimate thing was. You had one job. One job. Look after this. And there's one thing you ain't supposed to do, is to let nobody come and take control. And what's the first thing you do? Let another sleazy snake his way in and take control into what you're supposed to be in control of. Our garden is our mind. You take control of that, see who's in the driver's seat, and then regain control. And the creator will be pleased because that's the only job he gave you. Hey, this is the machine right there. You drive. And he'll forgive you. He don't care where you take it as long as you're driving. But if the machine arrive and he look at the driver's seat, he see a snake, he see some drugs, he see some pork, some food driving, he gonna be like, yo, what? The car crashed. Who was the driver? And then you're gonna be like, me. Well, that's hell. That now you're going to hell because you're supposed to be in charge. And I leave you with this. One of my favorite rapper, his name is Immortal Technique. And he has a quote that he says that hell is not a place you go if you're not a Christian. It's the failure of your life's greatest ambition. And for the last 15 years, I taught my son that quote. I live by it. Not to have an issue with Christianity or anybody that preach hell, but it makes so much sense to me when I heard that. When you have an ambition, when you have something that you want to accomplish so much, the failure of it, you not being able to accomplish that, you living in a state of hell. You're not in peace. You are not in peace if there is a something that you want to accomplish and you're stuck. So for the people who are depressed, who cannot change their lives, you in hell. You're in hell right now because you're supposed to be in charge of that machine. You're supposed to enjoy this boundless, this immense grace, this immense beauty that God created called life. The thing is, to me, I think when you living life, when you're alive, you already won the prize. This we're living now is the victory lap. Ever since your father's sperm went into your mother, you already got the crown. You won. You already beat so many sperm to win the championship. You won already. But now you're on earth. You're supposed to come here and celebrate and see what this marvel called life is about. But instead, oh man, I'm depressed. I'm sad. This person did this to me. I'm bitter. I'm this, I'm that. And then you turn this whole victorious, grand thing into a misery. which is it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be immense fun, love, happiness, abundance. It's supposed to be all that.
Wow. Wow. All right. So this is my final question.
I'm here.
What does healing mean to you?
Healings means repentance to me. It means repentance because when you think of the word dis-ease, meaning the body is not at ease, meaning there's a rupture somewhere. It's kind of like, okay, I'm talking to you right now. My voice, my image is supposed to go through that machine, and you're supposed to see and you're supposed to hear it. If there is this a distortion right now, whether through the images or the voice, there is a disease. There's a problem, meaning that the system is not functioning right. There's a problem. So now, if there is a dis-ease, you need a solution. You need ease in your life. You need ease. That means your artery, everything is supposed to flow, everything is supposed to connect. So your job is to find out, wow, man, my head hurt. Like that's like a symptom. That's like the car engine turns on and it's telling you, hey, something is wrong with the engine. So a lot of people be like, man, I'm gonna take some drug and ignore this freaking thing, and they ignore it. They got a headache. I'm gonna take an aspirin and just ignore it. They ignore it. The engine light is on, bro. Like the engine light is on. Go find out what's wrong with the engine to fix it. So healing to me is repentance. It's to find out what's wrong and to take responsibility as the custodian, as the driver of this vessel to take care of it because all the remedy is here. You're supposed to be healed. You're supposed to be in peace. You're supposed to be fine. You're supposed to enjoy this. So healing to me is repentance. I'm going the wrong way. I find out I'm moving left, whether physically, spiritually, or the food that I eat, or the people I surround myself with, or the music I listen to. And I'm going to change that to put myself at ease, to heal. That's what it is to me. And you feel all right. Once you heal that, the vessel, you feel all right with the person that you are. And in your environment, you feel good.
Thank you so much, Roberto, for sharing your inspiring story and your unique and powerful perspectives. I am absolutely sure that anyone who watches or listens will get a number of nuggets from this because trust me, yeah, it was really inspiring.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. And I want you to know I'm here for you. And before I leave, I will speak blessings on your life. I speak blessings on your podcast. I speak blessings on your plans and everything that you have to accomplish. And know that if we speak it into existence, it shall happen.
It shall happen.
Let's get it.
I am with you on that. Thank you so much.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Blessed love. To our listeners and viewers, I hope that today's episode inspired you as much as it inspired me. Remember, healing is a journey, not a destination, and every small step you take counts. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. You can check out more episodes of Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia on Amazon Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, please check out the description section for links and to stay connected with me on social media. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, nature cures. Blessed love.